Hello, welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I'm Jeff Arbuckle.
I am Jason Oliver.
I'm Chuck Moore.
And we are coming at you from Radio Free USA. This is the origin story of podcasts.
Yeah. I hope the FCC doesn't shut us down.
No, fuckers. And some stuffed suit with a toupee.
Steal in the air.
Steal the air.
It's been stoled.
We took it. And we cannot be triangulated.
Ooh, we cannot be. We're talking about the 1990 flick. Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume.
Pump up the volume.
Yep.
Yes.
Pump up the volume.
Yes. Thank you, Chuck.
You're
Finally, we had to triangulate that.
Yes.
I had not seen this movie for quite some time. I had forgotten a lot of this movie.
And
I liked it. I was very, very interested to realize how similar a movie it was to last week's movie, but but with a much different approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the serious version of Heathers. And as I said to Chuck, and Chuck doesn't believe me, I thought this would be a good pairing.
Did not.
Did two.
Did not.
Did two.
Did not.
Did two.
Did not. Did not. Did not.
Oh gosh,
An
guys.
episode late, but we got it.
We got it. We nailed it.
Nailed it.
Anyway.
Did not. Sorry, go ahead.
Good job.
Good job. So this is a movie I watched a lot. Probably in 91, 92, after it came out on video, because this movie came out, I want to say like late summer 90 maybe, but I don't think it played very long. I don't think it did very well. I think it was well enough liked. I think
It did about $11.5 million in the box office, which not bad.
it's not an expensive movie.
It's better than Heather's money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, this is a movie that I think is it's interesting because it's like I don't know whether or not to call this as timeless as Heather's.
I agree.
In a way, it is.
Agreed.
But also, the delivery element is not as timeless. Nobody listens to radio anymore.
Right. So it is dated in that regard, but like you said, it is sort of this weird birth of a new voice, a new way of getting your voice out there, and how that evolves is timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie, there's no way the writers could have known about things like social media or talkback forums or whatever, podcasts, right? But that's kind of what we're in now. That's how
Everybody has a voice.
Everybody
now.
has a voice
There's
now.
no such thing as pirate radio anymore because
Right.
all you have to do is upload whatever the hell you want.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
And now it's become a different problem. You get lost in a sea of voices.
Yeah. But you can still say shit and fuck 100 times.
For sure. Yeah.
Like Christian Slater, recommends to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's unlimited frequency now, right? You don't have a dial anymore. You just have to figure out where the stuff is you want to hear.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's also interesting because I do feel like a student in a high school could still not have this show. They would get in trouble.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was known who they were.
If there was known who they were,
yeah.
and they were having a show like this, and the tapes, but the digital files or links or the word was spread throughout the school
Right.
that there's someone at our school who has this show. I don't know. I think
it probably
and it was creating problems within the school. This could happen today.
Right. Like
This could definitely happen today.
yes, this movie
Probably versions of this have happened.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
sure.
everything he did would have been fine except for when he actually read notes that were school property. Like things he should not have had.
Yeah,
And when he's prank calling
All that stuff. But he's allowed to have an opinion, I think.
Sure.
Well, he can certainly have the opinion. I think that where the line has to be drawn is where does things become a disturbance?
Yes.
Right, because okay, 13-year-old me watching this movie on VHS was like, fuck yeah, let's fuck up the school, man. 43-year-old me is like, maybe not a good idea to fuck up the school.
Well, and also, like, come to find out that there was something insidious happening at this school.
That's the real issue.
That
right?
was coming to light and being exposed.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So he was tapping into a vein that he didn't even know about. That he was even confused by, that ended up being our sort of unlikely hero.
Right.
Yes.
He knew something because he knew about Mr. Deaver's letter.
Right.
Like he knew something was amiss, but not the extent, obviously, of it.
Right. And okay, so yeah, that brings up.
back?
Yeah,
Yes,
let's go back a little
back.
bit, because I think that brings up an excellent point, because I think that is where most of us would say he's in the absolute right to expose this sort of thing.
Yeah, I think
whether
that would
it's
be
legal or
championed
not.
maybe now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is about a guy who's new to a town in kind of bumfuck Arizona.
Yeah, he's from the East Coast.
He's from the East Coast, and he pirates radio, and he just talks. He just lets it out. It's like, basically, instead of keeping a journal, he's just talking out whatever he's got on his mind. Which is funny, because I think that it's one of those things where you say, it's like, what kind of trouble could he get in? There are a lot of people who write out their thoughts and write out their opinions and write out their feelings. And then if they're in school, you have a talk with them.
Right.
Right.
When maybe some of what they're writing or what they're talking about does make them feel better or helps them adjust better.
Right.
So it's kind of one of those, but this is how he does it. He does it by just pirating radio, and if anybody listens, great. Otherwise, he's getting what he wants to say.
Yeah, at first he's just a character. He's
Right.
Happy Harry Hard-On. He's not. He's just playing music and doing dumb shit, like
he's
masturbating 5 times an hour.
Right. It's really just kind of, crude sort of. I mean, it's almost Howard Stern.
It's ridiculous.
It's
kind of harmless. Maybe 16, 15-year-olds shouldn't be listening to it, but it's still not.
It's relatively
kids listen to it because he's goofy and he's funny, and
they relate to him.
Yeah, right.
Because he says
he's one of them.
He's one of them. He says that he goes to that school, and then he says, this place is fucked up. And they're like, yeah, it is.
Right.
Does he say he goes to that? I think at first they think he could be any school.
No. Well,
he starts name dropping principals and
he's
teachers
named
and stuff.
At that point, yeah.
But also, when you pirate radio, it's usually a pretty small area.
Well,
that
the one guy says he's got to be somewhere close, because this is where we get it the best.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So they pretty much suss out, but I mean. Samantha Mathis is the one that really does the detective work to find out who he is,
right?
Which is hardly any detective work at all. Just go to where the
PO box.
PO box is.
I think she had him figured out slightly before then.
The moment the moment he brought back the Lenny Bruce book, it's like, this seems interesting.
Then when he says something on the radio about how, I'm just like you, but I don't have any, I'm lonely too, I don't have any friends, you'll find me sitting on the stairs reading a book
in the
during
stairwell.
lunch.
Right. Yeah. She found that. Yeah. She found him.
She's totally like onto him.
Right.
At that point.
Well, she knows what to look. Yeah. She knows what to look for too.
She doesn't go canvass the PO box. She doesn't do it the way, like, you know what I mean?
You're right.
She followed him there.
Right.
And figured it out.
So, but anyway, no, but like he's the son of the new superintendent, basically.
Commissioner of schools, school commissioner, for the whole state, I think.
Yeah, so played by Scott Paulin, who is the Red Skull.
Or at least the district, I would guess.
1990
Captain America. Yeah, we've talked about the Red Skull. We've talked about this guy.
That actual character. Oh yeah.
That's that movie's Kick-Ass Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, the Red Skull.
Yep.
Is this the same year too? 90?
Yes.
This is 90, right?
Yes, it is. He was busy that year.
Yeah, he sure was.
But anyway, so like this guy and like Christian Slater's character is like, he's just kind of, I mean, he's been uprooted. That's hard for any kid.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you, like I did I'm bringing up middle school again. I got some trauma there. I maybe should talk about something. But
you
like
need a psychiatrist.
Oh, do I? Yeah.
You think you're a good kid, but you've been.
I'm going to send you to the school counselor.
Yeah. But no, I just moved like a block over and I ended up going to a different school. That's hard to fit in, because everybody at that school has been in that system, and they know each other.
I moved my senior year. My family did move. my senior year of high school, but I was able to find a friend to stay with. But I was terrified of moving like my last year and having to start over
Right.
senior year. So I can imagine what he felt.
Right.
You know? Totally.
Yeah. I know exactly what this kid feels.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pulled out of public school in the middle of my 9th grade year to be homeschooled. Then got sent to boarding school my sophomore year. The summer after my sophomore year, we moved from Charleston, West Virginia to Indianapolis.
Right.
I didn't know anybody, and then went back to boarding school.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have a chance to make friends in the state that I lived in.
Right. Until you started working or
I got kicked out of boarding school, came back to Indiana and was homeschooled my senior year. But I really didn't meet anyone other than my longest friend in Indiana, but I really didn't start meeting more people until I started working. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that sounds tough.
That does sound tough.
It wasn't great
because
I would have been a perfect candidate to start a pirate radio station.
Yeah.
You guys seem to know all the music that was in the. I mean, you were looking around his rooms like, oh, he's got good taste. No, I got lucky. Like I moved and went to a different middle school. The end of that 6th grade year, that middle school closed and they redistricted Perry Township, and I ended up back at the school I started at.
And you would have been back with all those kids in 9th grade anyway once you went to high school.
No.
Right?
No.
No, you wouldn't have?
No, because I would have ended up at Southport High School instead of Perry Meridian.
Wow.
So, but it just worked out that I finished the final year of Southport Middle School, or what was the original Southport Middle School. And then when they redistricted, it's like, oh yeah, you're going back to, the Perry Meridian pipeline. So like, yeah, I was just gone for a few months and I came back. It's like, hey, everybody, how's it going? I'm back.
Yeah, it's me.
And I'm back, baby.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, that wasn't that tough. My, as we kind of talked about last week, the struggles I had in really became more normal middle school struggles where everybody was going through a phase,
Right.
and everybody goes through that phase.
Right.
So I mean, but like, still though, when you're a kid, and because that's one thing we talked about a lot with Heathers was the idea that one scene in which the Winona Ryder's character's mom basically said, yeah, you only complain that you want to be spoken to like an adult when you're being spoken to like an adult.
Right.
Well, that's a universal message. Every kid wants to be heard and wants to feel like that they have something to contribute.
Right.
And if you go to a school that is particularly not as open,
Oppressive.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Or you feel like you're being repressed, then you are you start to act out and you want that outlet. And sometimes the outlet is, listening to, old George Carlin tapes or something,
Right,
or
right,
whatever.
right.
Because it's like, it's like I feel I can get that out. Some people write a diary. Some people, do. Some people actually act out. But it's not necessarily always coming from a bad place.
No,
No.
Happy Harry's thing was kind of constructive for himself. He didn't cause any problems at school.
Yep.
He was distracted and maybe his work wasn't totally up to snuff.
They did say that he was tired. Like he would turn in writing assignments and you can barely read it or whatever.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like a problem for the school while at school.
Right.
Yeah.
And his SAT scores were probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he
they
didn't
kept
get-
him. So they kept him around.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So so basically, you think this is like your run of the mill. Oh, kids are just being kids and adults are being closed minded, but it actually takes a turn around the third act.
Yeah, it's a little more devious than that.
Right, because yes, there are some bullshit. There's some definite bullshit
so we find
going
out
on.
early, like a third of the movie, I guess. One girl is pregnant, right?
And
This
she's
young
been
lady's pregnant,
expelled.
and she gets expelled for not having a healthier outlook, is what Deaver says. And I was trying to put together were they thinking she should get an abortion?
No, I think
not
they
sure.
were thinking that she should excuse herself.
Okay.
I think that's what they mean by
You
that.
might be right, but it
Yeah.
did kind of feel like they were saying, we don't want a pregnant girl around here.
Exactly. And I think because they said that her being pregnant would create an environment of distraction.
Yeah, and,
Right.
and this was not an uncommon conversation that was happening around the time either.
No, I could imagine, but I doubt a lot of them got expelled. Obviously.
A lot did.
A lot got expelled.
There were girls who got pregnant in my school, and then they didn't show up after a while.
Yeah, I guess
But
I know
I
that.
always thought they dropped out,
whether they were explicitly expelled
or they were
not,
pressured to drop out.
Yeah.
I
one
had
or the
two
other.
girls complete high school pregnant
Yeah.
in my school.
Oh yeah. I mean,
that was a woke school, Chuck.
Yeah, we were woke, man.
did they go broke?
Did they? Yeah, they were so
They were so woke they went broke.
They went broke.
I also think that his relationship with his parents is actually not a terrible one.
No,
Like they really
there's
legitimately try, and they have good reason to be concerned.
right, and they're not asking him to change. They just want to find out.
They
They're
just
not
want him
saying-
to talk to someone.
Exactly.
That's all they want.
And that's actually, there is actually some, but if you look at it through the lens of like as an adult, you say, hey, you know what? These parents give him a long leash. They want him to be happy. They want him to talk and make friends, like any parent would want their kid to make friends.
Right, and even when they suggest he should go see somebody, they're like, "We think you're a great kid.
You're
we
doing
just
great.
think you're unhappy right now."
If
Yes.
you can't talk to us, we want to find you someone to talk to.
Right. And but as a kid, you don't see it that way, right?
Right.
Like I remember probably watching this as a young teenager thinking it's like, oh, parents don't understand,
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
But I see it from a different point of view now.
Right.
But he also recognizes it.
he does because
He doesn't get super angry. Sorry, go ahead.
no, he's just like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I would just leave me alone. And then what's he do? He goes right off and does what he finds as a self-therapy.
He goes and talks to everybody, but anonymously.
Exactly.
basically.
So, yeah, I mean, so he's got a pretty good situation, and you feel like most people do. There are some, like the punk kid is probably an asshole. I mean,
They never really
don't
show
know.
him as being an asshole.
I kind of find him refreshing too, in the sense that he's definitely probably a bit of a troublemaker, but it doesn't seem like he's a bad kid.
He's not the
Right.
switchblade kid at
Right.
school.
True.
He's not your stereotypical like tough,
Right.
Right.
Who's,
I mean,
who's
he's
just like fucking kids up for their lunch money and
No.
shit.
right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you
He was
get,
against the system, not the other kids at all.
Right.
I'm guessing.
right. Actually, yeah,
Totally.
he really was. I mean, yeah, it did definitely seem like there were.
Like you can even see him get emotional when he hears the homosexual kid tell a story.
That's true.
Right?
Right.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, like you get the impression that the community of kids really like one another. Like there's no Heather's situation
Well, I was
going
just
on
thinking
here.
it's weird. There's like no bullies.
Not
There's
really.
nobody in the school that's like a foil.
Right, and the
at
school
all.
seems
like
to
the kids. I mean.
right, like some of the kids seemed really, really young.
Yeah.
Also, like that seemed like it was more than just a high school 4-year school. Like maybe the middle school was there too.
I mean, to me, it seemed like some of the kids are just age appropriate more than anything. You don't
Well,
see
maybe.
you don't see age
Yeah.
A lot of those
appropriate
ninth
casting very
grade
often.
kids were not ninth grade level age.
Like,
yeah.
well,
yeah.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Samantha Mathis wasn't 9th grade level.
No,
She
hopefully
would have
was a
been
little older,
19 or 20. I looked
Yeah.
it up. So she could play senior easy.
No, yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's like no, she was all grown up.
She was.
Anyway,
And you're grown up and you're grown up.
but no, it seemed like that. Yeah, generally speaking, it was not even parents that. I mean, there was the one smart girl whose dad was like, "You've got an interview with Yale tomorrow."
Yale girl.
Right.
And this is the girl that I keep wanting to call him Happy Harry. I can't remember his actual name in the.
Happy Harry Hardon.
Yeah, but I don't remember his real name.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I can't either. Christian Slater.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sure. That's fine. He's Happy
Mark
Harry.
Hunter.
Mark Hunter.
That's
They,
it.
they must not use it a lot.
Her name was Nora De Niro.
Nora De Niro.
And then Paige was the Yale girl.
Paige.
So yeah, you were saying.
The girl he likes at first that he's interested in is that girl who's going to Yale,
Yes.
and she's following the path.
Well, it's-
like her family would want her to. Her dad wants her to.
Yeah, and she's
got turmoil inside.
Sure, and And she's pretty. She's well put together, it seems like. I mean, and to him, I don't think he necessarily rages against the system. I think he just doesn't know how to. I don't know if he just. I just don't know if he knows how to put it all together in his terms.
Right.
You know, like, I don't think he has any problems with the idea. I mean, he's probably smart. He's well read.
Mm-hmm.
He probably is going to go to college. He's probably going to have a good career or whatever, and probably even does what his dad does in the long run, you know, or at least gets into education or whatever. So, I mean, I assume that he sees that in her, and that would be somebody on the East Coast. They would have followed the same path together. Or I think that's probably how he would look at that.
Right.
Huh. The one guy, I was trying to figure out who the punk was, but the guy who has the long hair with he always wear the black shirt, that guy.
Oh yeah.
That's Ahmet Zappa.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he dated the blonde-haired friend of Samantha Mathis, Nora's friend. They were always going to listen together at the football field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
That is neat.
No, I mean this.
Billy Morissette was the punk. Mazzarelli.
Oh, nice.
Is he Alanis's sibling? I saw that name.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Yeah.
I
Don't
don't-
you think?
I don't know.
That would be like rain on your wedding day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or free ride when you're already there.
Yeah. It's like 10,000 spoons when all
he
you need is a
married
knife.
Maura Tierney.
Oh, nice.
It's like meeting the man of your dreams. And then meeting his beautiful wife.
Chuck's gonna go through the whole thing.
No, that's all I know.
That's all you know?
That's
Okay.
all I know.
Is it like rain?
We've already done.
Yeah, I already had the wedding day.
Yeah, you're reading Wikipedia.
I am.
We get into the present.
I'm
God
in it.
damn it.
I'm in it.
So
I'm
So
gonna
when he
pump up
does
the
this
volume.
Devers thing, it starts to incite the students a little bit to take action.
Right. And you've
so-
seen at the beginning of the movie, like when they go to school on the bus, like people are coming off the bus, and you had that fucking shop teacher who's always walking around with this gigantic set of
He
keys.
did have an awesome set of keys.
He was the vice principal, right?
He has to be of some power, but at first he goes into the shop room.
Right. And he's just like,
I
he's the
think
Gestapo.
I think he's just he's everywhere, man.
Right.
But,
yeah.
But I doubt he was a shop teacher because the way they reacted to him was because your shop teacher, I think, would be kind of like your buddy.
No, you would beat that fucker up. Those kids would have beat that guy up if the shop teacher tried to. The shop teacher, every shop teacher in any school I was ever at was a fucking idiot.
Really?
Oh yeah, he was a dullard.
Ours were not.
All the shop
You've had a
teachers I
bad-
remember were just all they really gave a shit about was that you got out of there with all your fingers and toes.
Yeah. They were
I don't
usually
know if
cool. The
mine
ones I
cared
had
that
were
much
cool.
about.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
pretty
They're
cool.
like, let's build a car and put a CO2 cartridge in it and shoot it down the hallway, bro. Let's
Yeah.
do that. That's cool.
No, but I mean, I don't. He probably was like the assistant
Yeah,
principal.
because they were like Mr. Smith, whatever
right.
his name was. They were
But
very,
he was waiting at the bus with a list, like
Yeah.
he was like
Yeah.
pulling, like he was the Gestapo. I mean, he really
for
was.
sure.
I mean, Miss Norris, you've been impregnated. Come with me.
we'll review your files. I don't
Your
know.
files.
Let's review your files.
Yeah, like they were just picking somebody and so let's take a look at your files.
well, that's
like
what you
now
do. That's
you are,
where you start to realize there's something else going on in the
right
school.
because now they're picking
have
and finding
files.
things.
they have files.
Right.
jerks.
So basically, anybody who it wasn't that they were so much troublemakers. It didn't even seem like that they even cared about that. What they cared about, though, was what their potential SAT scores were.
Yeah, we don't know that at this
Right.
point, right? But yeah, they do. They care how they make the school.
Well, at one point early on in the movie, there's a sign that says 200 days till SATs.
oh yeah, they're pressing that pretty hard.
They were pressing on it
Yeah.
pretty hard, and so what they were doing was they were finding the kids that didn't look like they were going to score all that well, kicking them out.
We're failing a subject.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Which failing a subject is not expulsion at
But it was
any
math.
stage.
They're failing math. You're in
But that's-
trouble.
but-
because that's a big SAT.
But that's an SAT. But I'm
Yeah.
saying in the real world where no mischievous shit's going on at the school, if you're failing a class mid-semester, you're not expelled.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So obviously at that point, like at some point, you also have to wonder, like where the parents were just like, all right, I guess you're expelled. Well, okay, cool. We'll find you someplace
I
else.
know, right? Like
Like
all
this
these
would not
parents
have
haven't
flown-
gone to the school board about these things. Yeah,
The
exactly.
commissioner doesn't know about it already.
Right.
There is some suspension of
For sure.
disbelief here.
Right.
You have to have.
Now that does bring up a good point. I think there's one place where this movie fails in its attempt at what it wants to do. This is an R-rated movie, but it's trying to speak to kids who are under age. Like the kids wouldn't have. This movie is made for an adult audience.
Yeah.
But those adults aren't the kids anymore that it's speaking to or that it's defending.
Nope.
Yeah,
They're going to be parents, though.
in 20 years, or I mean, in 20 years, they would be dealing with this.
I still though believe that a lot of times movies were made with R-rated, but still marketed to kids.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, studio execs knew that kids were going to see this movie.
well, sure. I mean,
You got the soundtrack that it has.
Yeah.
And
well, granted, like
the subject matter.
17-year-olds would have been in school and could have gone and seen it. And,
For sure.
You know, and 16-year-olds, I mean, depending on where you're at, in 1990 in Indianapolis, Indiana, you just bring a note from your mom saying it's cool.
I mean,
to see
I was
this.
11 when this came out. I did not see this when it came out.
Right.
You know?
But you certainly would have gotten it rented a lot
Oh,
by
sure.
14,
sure.
15-year-olds.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, shit, I was 14 when it came out on VHS, and I
Right.
rented the fuck out of it. So, yeah, I mean, it's, sure. But, like, at the same time, if you think about it, though, if you just simply think about it on the terms of, should we make this R-rated? Should we should we at least try for a PG-13 to, you know,
Well,
so that
the director, Alan Moyle, he did do that eventually. He made Empire Records.
oh,
Yeah.
fuck that movie.
And I know you don't like that movie,
Yeah, fuck
but
that
that was PG-13. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I think there is an R-rated cut because for some reason most of the world likes that movie until they see it again
I wouldn't.
as an adult.
This movie could have been PG-13 if Mathis didn't take off her shirt. I mean, it could have maybe.
Well, some of the radio bits would the language.
the
was
language,
too
the
much.
language
That
is
stuff,
probably
yeah.
way over PG-13. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like,
But that
it's
plays
a,
but that plays to truth, honestly, because a kid, you know, a 16, 17-year-old
That's what I was
kid
gonna
on the
say.
radio is gonna curse like a sailor.
It's stupid to me because everyone knows 16 and 17-year-olds hear this crap.
Right.
Like an R
Right.
rating doesn't do anything for anybody. Because
no, yeah,
it's honest about
Right.
what we were like in high school.
It does
to a
sort of
point.
make you wonder why they needed the nudity, to be honest. I mean,
Well, I mean, I guess at one point they just said, "Well, we're going to have our ratings." Hey, girlie,
It was
let's-
a little.
let's-
out
let's
of
see
place.
those
You
sweater
probably
puppies.
didn't
you didn't need it.
need it. You didn't need it.
no, you really didn't. I mean, and even how it's framed, it doesn't even zero in on
Right.
it.
It's not exploitative.
No, it's like
Um,
it's. I mean, I don't know.
So maybe their point there is it's realistic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because she just wants to fucking bone him right there on the lawn. And he's like, I got neighbors,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, and she's like, I don't care. Well, I'm going to go then. If you don't want to fuck here in the grass,
She wants to
I'm
know.
out.
She wants to know if he's wearing a cock ring or not.
She does, man. She wants to get in those pants.
Yep.
No, I don't know. It's kind of funny because, like, if you made this movie today, because this movie could be made today, you could very easily remake this movie.
Absolutely.
Would you do radio or podcast or how would you?
I mean,
how would
it'd
you
probably be
approach
podcast.
that part of it?
It'd be a podcast, or no? What it kind of is to on a weirdly different scale. It's 8th grade. Either of you see that movie?
I'm
No.
not actually.
The little girl in 8th grade. She has a YouTube channel,
Oh, yeah.
That-
So-
and she talks about
YouTube-
this kind of stuff.
YouTube in a mask. That
Yeah.
seems
But
more
she's just
realistic
super
to me.
awkward about it, but is trying to get her voice out there, and it's the only way she knows how. And it doesn't really have the following that Christian Slater's does, but it's
Well, it's probably because it
the
is
themes
Christian
and the beats
Slater.
are absolutely all there. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, so, okay. So, like, you could still do that today. The funny thing is, though, it's like, how would you rate the movie if you're trying to speak to a specific
Yeah.
group? It would be so hard because, like, the rules are pretty, like, I mean, like, you cannot say fuck more than once. You can't have nudity unless it's a 3-hour Titanic movie or something.
Right.
It just goes back to the other night when we were
Yeah.
watching the 3-hour movie.
Yep.
But anyway, you know, so it's like, where do you like, how do you make this movie so that you know the right people see it? Because, like, I can't imagine that a 30-year-old or a 25-year-old in 1990, this movie comes out, if they would have any connection to it.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it depends because a lot of the music was older
Yeah.
than he actually was. So I
Right.
think they might identify with some of the soundtrack and the idea of radio piracy, but the subject matter, I don't know.
Right. At that point, it's like most colleges aren't very oppressive.
Right.
So you're not.
Well, I mean, Wave of Mutilation was very much of that time.
Probably one of the few songs. Leonard Cohen stuff was earlier.
Leonard Cohen was 88.
That song was 88.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Wow.
I don't know that it was really a song that kids in high school in 1988 listened to, but it was 88.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Interesting. I thought that stuff was older, but
It does bring up, like,
You had licensed, songs from Licensed to Ill,
which was what, mid 80s?
yeah, that was like 85.
85. Yeah.
86. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to think because, like, where I didn't as much connect with this was some of the stuff like the school stuff anymore. Like, it's like, oh, those kids.
Right.
It's like, I remember feeling that way. I don't feel that way anymore. But there is a message that is still there, right? Like, when you see something wrong, or if you feel like you just need to get something out, you should be able to get it out without people worrying about,
Right.
how you're getting it out or what you are. Maybe sometimes what you say can be scary, but if you've got frustrations, you need to express them somehow.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's probably really bad.
right.
It's the kid who kills himself in this movie.
Well, so I was just about to say the big turn, where the first big turn in this movie is people start to call him, they start to take him seriously, right? Almost like a Dear Emma or whatever you want to call it, one of those.
Right.
I'm going to call and get advice from this guy, which is probably a fool's errand because he's on the radio talking about his cock all the time.
Well,
He's not
but
really.
but he tells people where to send stuff. Like, he's got that P.O. box.
No,
and
I know,
obviously he
but-
wants this.
But I don't think he wanted a call.
No, but that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So this kid tells him he's going to kill himself. He calls himself serious. Slater doesn't take it real seriously.
Well, he takes it as seriously as he doesn't make fun of it, at least.
He kind of like he's a little cheeky when he's asking him if he has the gun and if he has the stuff. He's like,
But
he's challenging him almost.
a little bit. But at the same time, though, he's not saying, like, he's saying, hey, instead of doing this, why don't you go and do something else? Or, it's like, I mean, but yeah, I see where you're going. I mean, yeah.
But he's also talking to him as a 17-year-old.
Right. He wasn't equipped for this kind of call. That
Right.
wasn't what.
And which is why he starts to feel guilty afterwards.
Right.
He has the appropriate response. It's like, I told him all these things, but I didn't tell him not to do it.
Right.
Right. He said everything but that.
Right.
I mean, because he didn't say do it. He didn't say that either. But,
Right.
But he said everything that you think, well, he shouldn't do it, but he didn't say don't do it.
Right.
Teenage suicide.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. There really is a lot of Heathers, like, thematically in this movie.
Yeah, the one thing that's missing is the cliques. I mean, you see different
Yeah.
types of kids, but you don't really see them. The clique is the following of Happy Harry Hard-On.
Right.
You
And
know.
it's pretty much the whole school by the end.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and
They take that bureaucracy of the actual students out of it.
yes,
There's
yeah,
no, like, everyone's almost level and
yeah.
kids are on the same side.
It's more realistic that way, I feel, because, like, yes, there were cliques, but at least in my experience, there wasn't a great deal of, like, the shenanigans you'd see, like, in Heathers, or the horror stories that you hear people say, oh, that's what's going to happen when you get to high school, or
I don't
whatever.
know. Some of that shit happened in my high school, but the oppression was the bigger deal here.
Right. We were all united against, oh, that teacher's a jerk,
Right.
or whatever,
Right.
And
that's the angle they played.
right.
This, to me, I was also getting Dead Poet Society vibes, like, big time. Just from the sense that you've got somebody in an oppressive learning environment who's trying to get these kids to think a different way.
Yeah.
Right. And it devolves in some ways. I mean, you have one kid who commits suicide, and that gets the teacher in trouble when really the teacher was just trying to help this kid, but this kid realized that, or mistakenly realized truly that he's found his voice and who he really wants to be, and that's great, but he's never going to be that person because of his father. Right. So he hits another dead end. He hits another dead end that he can't handle, but it all gets blamed on the teacher. Right. But for me, when I saw Dead Poets Society, I probably had the reaction a lot of kids in high school when they saw this movie. Dead Poets Society was that movie for me.
Oh, okay.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could relate to it because of the environment.
Sure. Well, and he was trying to, run away from, like, hey, I fucked up, so I need to, I didn't say that, or he thinks he fucked up, even though he really didn't technically fuck
He's
up.
like, this is causing a problem.
I am now
no
longer, I cannot no longer be the person that I was, or whatever.
He doesn't want to be the postman.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Wow, we are all shows for now on. We'll circle back around to either Heather's or Postman.
Yep.
It's Heather's beats the postman. Everyone.
Yep.
That pump up the volume.
So but like the next time he goes back on, and this time he gets a letter from a guy who's from a kid who's gay, or at least. It's not. It doesn't. He doesn't come out. It's not explicitly said, but it's, hey, I was fooling around with this guy and I liked this guy or whatever, and he got humiliated by it. And this time he takes a different angle with it, and even though the kid seemingly is like, well, we're all, I can't remember exactly.
None of us have answers.
Right. It doesn't seem like any of us have answers, so I guess I'll talk to you later. Bye. But at the same time, the kid still got something more than the kid who wanted to kill himself.
Right.
So, now he kind of realizes that he kind of made up for losing the one kid by actually being there for the other.
Yeah.
Because the kid's like, it's like, you probably think I'm whatever he said. And he's
stupid fag.
Something like that. Yeah. And he's like, no, not at all. And I think he even also calls the kid the only one who
really knows what's going on here.
Right.
Yeah.
He calls him strong.
Yep.
And he says the other kids are lost.
Right.
You're the only one that
knows what's going on around here. Yeah. So I mean, like, but there comes a point though where you do have to understand that once you have where this movie really starts to like kind of dig in with what it's what people are kind of surrounding or lifting up with the Harry character is, at what point are you responsible to the people that are or responsible for the people that are listening?
Right.
Because like,
and what's the plan? Like, what's the end game? Because
Exactly.
a lot of these kids don't even know what they're pissed off about.
Right.
And they're waiting for Harry to tell them.
Right. And that's a dangerous position for anyone to be in.
Right. Because the girl even says, like, you've got us all here now. You have to tell us.
You got to tell us where
what
to go.
to do.
And in some ways, he's sort of let off the hook by the fact that the one teacher exposes the insidiousness in the administration.
Right. Because at what point does the movie and the people making the movie want to say what needs to happen?
Right.
So in a way, the movie has to let him off the nature of the, because like, imagine, if you will, somebody standing up on a stage and they say, all these people who come from a certain part of the world, they come into another part of the world and they don't seem like they're the cleanest of people. I don't know. I could be wrong. They take jobs cleaning other people's houses or whatever. But no, I mean, what I'm getting at is that, you say that to a certain group of people, and you start off with that, and it's relatively I mean, it's bad.
You're planting a seed, right?
You're planting the seed. And so then next thing you know, it's like all of a sudden there's a rash of violence against that certain group of people. Now, the person who said the thing didn't say go out and commit the violence, but they plant the seed of mistrust or hatred or whatever. And it's like, okay, so at what point is the person who planted the seed as responsible than the person who is acting out or whatever? And what's the end game, like you said, of the person who plants the seed? Now, if he says, hey, yeah, I'm here for myself. I'm here for my own, I'm mad at this person, or I'm mad at this situation, or I'm mad at this thing.
Yeah, when you're 17, you don't think you're the gardener.
Exactly.
You're just throwing shit out there. You don't expect anything to grow.
Exactly. You're just trying to find your own peace of mind.
Right.
But if he started, like, he obviously felt guilty for the kid killing himself because he said don't do it. But he can't be responsible for that. That was something else that had already started someplace else. But if he starts telling people to go out and spread a message, well, and then some of those people start spreading bad messages, he's a little bit to blame for that.
Sure.
And at the end of the movie, what happens? He's inspired a bunch of people to pirate radio.
Right.
And just spout out stuff or offer advice. That's bad. That could be real bad. Just having some 16-year-old kid offer advice. Like, I don't know if I trust anybody in their 20s to offer advice to somebody else,
Right.
Let alone like, and also
steal the air.
But also at the same time, it's like people could be offering advice based on their own perspective.
And that's what we started the episode with on, is that now everybody's got a YouTube channel. Everybody's got an opinion that they can air. And it's become toxic.
In places, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because exactly. Like, I have watched YouTube channels where somebody asks for advice, and the advice that the person it just from comment sections, it's like, well, we're going to read comments today. And somebody says, oh, I'm afraid my parents aren't going to like me coming out or transitioning or whatever. And their response is, well, then fuck them. You don't need them. Well, that's not a good thing to say when the person says, I'm 15 and.
Right.
It's like, that's not the response. And I can't watch the show anymore, because it's like you are poisoning the well by doling out. Just because in your 20s you opted not to be around your parents anymore.
Right.
So
you don't know that situation. All you're hearing is 1% of 1% of his or her relationship with their parents. You're
right.
You can't immediately apply what worked for you to everyone.
Exactly.
So I think most schools these days, instead of teaching subjects, should teach more, I don't know if it's theoretical is the right word, but like critical thinking.
Critical thinking
Learning
is
to think for yourself
gone.
We
Just
weren't
general
even taught
life
it.
skills, man.
We weren't taught critical thinking when we were kids. You had to wait to get to college before they started talking about that.
Right.
But with all the stuff that's out there now, like you can tell, and I don't want to call anyone out by name, but everyone that listens to Fox News or maybe MSNBC or whatever of a certain age, maybe even our generation, they believe everything they hear. They don't go and look for info.
Or the other side of it, they either believe everything they hear or they question everything, even with piles of...
Questioning is better to start, but I get what you're getting at.
Right. It's like, oh, the coronavirus is just a ploy because it's an election year. We don't believe it. Go out and do whatever you want.
Right.
Well, I think most of those people, not just that example, but an example similar, are questioning it because they're being told to question it.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
And not just for the sake of critical thinking, where
you
should inform yourself
by someone else that's a hoax.
Right.
Yes.
Right. It's the intellectual dark web.
They're feeding into a conspiracy.
Right. intellectual dark web is where that comes from, and there's only one word in that whole thing that actually represents exactly what that thing is, and that's dark. It's not intellectual, and it's a loose web of bullshit.
Right.
So it's like, but again, it's people who are setting up shop on a podcast or a website or a YouTube channel or whatever, and saying,
or a public address on television.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes, and then
A campaign rally.
Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad, and I know we're kind of piling on one person, but this happens literally everywhere.
oh no,
It's happened.
both-
It's happened in the history of mankind.
Yeah. So critical thinking, if you're able to do that, and you can go find the information, which wouldn't have been happening in the 80s, late 80s or early 90s, maybe they just,
Right.
They grabbed onto this movement, which turned out to be an okay thing, but it could have been like,
it could have been bad.
Yeah.
Could have been real bad. I mean, of course, the movie isn't going to make our lead guy a hero. In the end, but
the movie doesn't, I don't think, draw any conclusions really.
no,
I mean, especially maybe they had positive intentions with everybody has a voice, but that's never really been able to play out. It took a couple decades
right.
Sure.
for that seed to really plant.
I mean, the one victory in this movie is exposing the school.
Yes.
but I will also say that there is a
But that's
general.
not going to be like the norm.
No,
and,
no,
you know?
No, I would say though the one norm that I think is that, hey, it's okay not to have the answers,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's okay just to kind of say what you feel.
Well, like the way,
You know,
the
and-
moment when he says, "Well, what do you do now?" He's like, "Well, I don't know. That's the big question, isn't it?"
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I don't know. I'm
I
17.
don't have any answers either.
17. I'm looking for him just like you are.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's okay to talk about it without
Right.
knowing. I mean, there are plenty of things I don't know dick about, but I like talking about it. Like movies, for example. I like talking about movies. I don't know dick about them.
Do you know
no
what
more
a
than
dick
anybody
about
else. Say what?
Do you know what a cock ring is?
I do.
Is it a ring that has a cock on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I? No, I won't bring it up.
Oh, now you must.
I can't. I don't. No, it might be embarrassing.
Oh, okay. Can we talk about it off air?
Absolutely.
Jeff, turn off the mics for a minute.
Sure thing. Click. What's up?
I just need to remember a prescription once
Okay. Gotcha.
that I found pretty funny. I don't know.
We'll talk later. We'll talk later.
Okay.
Where are we at in the movie here? What's going on now?
So,
It just popped in my head, and then I'm like, nope.
okay,
nope.
fair enough. So the other thing that like where this movie comes from, and like in the timeline of everything, this comes out right after and being made right at the end of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And the 80s kind of saw that resurgence of that 50s lifestyle of, everything runs in like those 30-year cycles.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So like the idea of the 50s being hey, we're the best and we've got everything. Everything is figured out, and everybody just do what your do what your elders say and make that money, and everything's going to be great. And of course, in the 80s, you had Reagan. Everything was the shining city on the hill, and everything seemed to kind of harken back to
the golden age or something.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Which some people would argue is absolutely not the golden age, but the idea was that there was a resurgence of that kind of we're the best and just do what you're told and everything will work out.
We went the other way in the 90s, though. But I
Sure,
guess that
sure.
doesn't matter. We
Right,
didn't
it doesn't
really-
matter because this is rolling
Before
off
that,
of that. Yeah. And this movie kind of does set the tone for the 90s, where it's like, hey man, all of that was bullshit, man.
Right.
It's like we can't care about politics because it wasn't even close in the 80s. The elections, it didn't matter.
Right.
It was a foregone conclusion who was winning what. We were told that drugs are no good, so we can't take drugs.
Sex is bad again.
Sex
the
is
AIDS
bad again.
crisis.
Yep.
And yep.
So, but it turns out that also all of it was kind of bullshit, and it's you can make a difference. You can have your voice. You can say what's on your mind. You can do what's right.
But that's interesting, though, that you bring that up, because going into the 60s, people believed what you were saying, and then the 60s were all rebellion. A lot of it was rebellion.
But it was
So
also
this movie-
the birth of the new silent majority,
Right,
too.
but if this movie was being the 50s all over again, it was setting up the rebellion of the next decade.
Exactly.
But it didn't really happen that way necessarily. Which
Well-
is kind of interesting. We didn't really carry that flag through the 90s so much that I remember.
The reason why is that Gen X just sucks at carrying flags.
Maybe.
They're not very good
staying
at-
out of the way.
I also
Right.
I also think in this
We're also
I also think in
disaffected.
this country 9/11 had a lot to do with that.
Sure.
I think it forever shaped a psyche of a generation,
right.
and some of maybe what we would have done would have been construed in ways we wouldn't have wanted it to be.
Right.
In an America that was trying to be quote unquote secure.
Right.
Yeah. That's pretty deep, man.
One terrorist attack can ruin your whole day.
Exactly.
Yeah, bringing it back.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, so I mean, no, I like that this is not a big, deep movie, and I don't think it has to be.
No, I agree.
I think it's perfectly fine just saying, hey, you know what? Being a kid sucks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always will.
We've taken it deeper though, so it elicits thought.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It plants a seed. It does. The movie does what Happy Harry Hard-On does.
Right.
It plants a seed and lets you think about shit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make you do it.
No, I'm not
And it
gonna.
doesn't explain it to you.
Right, I'm not going to throw my work computer in the microwave and start a fire because it's like I'm done. Fucking Rage Against the Machine,
Right.
or whatever. I'm not going to do anything like that. But it makes you think. It's like there are a lot of things out there that doesn't seem right, but I don't know if there's a right answer for some of it either. I mean, like. Yeah, obviously you don't kick kids out of school for being pregnant. Obviously you don't kick kids out of school and then keep them on the rolls to make money off
Manipulate the books.
or whatever. But also it's like there's a million things you can see every day by just simply logging on to Facebook. That's like, wow, that sucks. That's no good. That doesn't seem right but it's hard to say what the right answer is.
Yeah, sometimes life now is like riding the bus in the morning to school where everything's just a weird cacophonous hum.
Mm-hmm.
Almost there's so much out there that you almost can't make sense of what anyone is saying. I
Right.
don't know if that makes sense, but it's...
I don't know anything of what you're saying.
Did you ride the bus?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
Yeah. I'm on board with I'm on board that bus.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's because the moment that somebody says we need to do something about X, somebody else pops up and is like, fuck X, Y is more important. And then somebody over here is like, but I like 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
It's like, oh my God. It's like we can't even get on the same fucking page.
Too much noise, man.
Yep. And sometimes the noise that rises to the top is just the smallest group that's willing to shout the loudest.
The loudest voice.
Or pay the most in advertising dollars.
Yeah, that too.
That's
that
true.
helps.
That's true. But most of the time, though, it's like if you filter out those ads or whatever, what you hear people, I mean, like you're gonna hear the far ends of both spectrums shout the loudest over the majority of the people who are left in the wasteland. And yeah, I mean, so yeah, it sucks being a kid, but
And Christian Slater ruined the world.
yeah, he started social media.
He Zuckered us. He Zuckerberged us
Yeah.
before there was a Zuckerberg.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Christian Slater. Hashtag thanks, Christian Slater.
Thanks a lot, Christian Slater.
But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, this movie isn't trying to change the world, but it's just it's giving you some kind of solace that, hey, yeah, it's tough growing up. It sucks. And there are bad people who think they know better than you, or at least they think they know better than you, and that's bad.
There are people that will use children to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And don't expect for that to change when you're a grown up either.
Nope.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn. So
early score from Cliff Martinez. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
It was just a fine score. Nothing.
Well, it's
You were
very
excited about that score. Yeah, it was.
I was excited that
The name. You saw the name.
He scored
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Probably only his maybe second score. His first was Sex Lies and Videotape.
Interesting.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
What are some later ones? Give me some Cliff Martinez.
Well, the most famous recent one would be Drive.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he graduated to the. That's kind of.
He also
what am I trying to
did
say? Synthesizer.
He also
score.
did one of my favorite scores of his is Soderbergh's Solaris.
Okay.
He's done a lot of Soderbergh stuff.
And he's done a lot of different styles too. I think.
Yes.
Because he didn't he do? Oh, what's the movie I'm thinking of? Never mind. I won't.
He in the recent decade or so, he's definitely a little bit more on the side of the electronic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Was Sex Lies and Videotapes was that Cronenberg's first?
That was Soderbergh's first.
So that's what I
Yes.
meant. I don't know why I
Yes.
said Cronenberg.
Soderbergh's first film. Yep.
I want
many
to.
birds.
I think he's scored most of Soderbergh's movies.
I would positively love to see David Cronenberg's Sex Lies and Videotape, and then barf for hours afterwards, because that's going to be a gross movie. That is going to be a fucking gross movie.
Well, you watch Crash. That's
I was
pretty
just
much
about to bring up Crash.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
was.
much his Sex Lies and Videotape.
The other
I was
Crash.
just
And it
thinking,
even has Jimmy Spader in it, playing a weird sexual, like a sexual weirdo. Yeah,
that movie
yeah.
is weird, man. That
when is James Spader not a sexual weirdo?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what he specializes in.
Yeah. Maybe we'll watch that someday. We'll get some NC-17 action going on.
Yeah. Well, it's getting a 4K restoration, so
Oh God.
yeah. I haven't seen it.
I don't know if I want to see any Cronenberg in 4K.
I don't think I've seen it since it was released on video.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Not
it's
to go
hard to
totally
find.
off the
It's
ra-
not super hard to. It's not super easy to find.
I think that's the case with a lot of NC-17 movies.
Yeah.
I think it's just they don't know who the audience is: sex weirdos or Jimmy Spader, which is sex weirdos.
I just definitely never. I don't never see it on streaming. I think you could probably get the DVD release of it, but yeah,
All right. Well, we'll 4K that up.
4K it up.
4K it up. So next 2 weeks we got Jack Nicholson movies. We got the Jake Giddies films, the Chinatown and the Two Jakes. So that should be fun. We've gotten Jack Nicholson light. Now we're gonna get Jack Nicholson heavy.
He was a little less Jack Nicholson in this movie.
I'd say he's more Jack Nicholson.
Oh,
in this.
okay, fair. All right.
I don't
Read it
know.
that way.
I didn't either. I thought he was chewing a little bit more in.
I don't know,
Heathers.
man. I think when he was Hard Harry, it was
Jack?
It was Jack.
Sometimes he gets the same sort of eyebrow.
Oh yeah.
thing going. Yeah,
Some of those things I don't think he can help.
I don't think he
necessarily.
can. I really don't think he can. He's softened that persona. Like I never really read him as Jack Nicholson in Mr. Robot.
No. And Mr. Robot is awesome.
Yep.
He's awesome in that.
Okay. Remember Broken Arrow? I like that
Oh
movie.
man, do you really like that movie?
I don't remember liking that
It's
movie.
fun,
Yeah.
but it's not great.
I mean, it's John Travolta chewing scenery.
It was John Woo's first. Was it first or second American film? Because first was Hard Target, second was Broken Arrow, and then he made Face Off.
I'm going to take your face
Off.
I'm surprised you didn't say that first, Jeff.
No, that's his. That's his thing.
Okay.
I love that movie. I love. You know what I love about the movie? I love not Jack Nicholson. No, John Travolta and Nicolas Cage acting like
the
each
other.
other.
Be each other.
Oh, I love it so much because it's hilarious.
I want to see it again. I haven't seen it since probably the theater. I didn't love it.
I liked it.
man.
I didn't love it. I liked it.
I definitely loved it
Yeah.
when I saw it. Yeah,
Fair enough.
I probably don't have as much love for it now, but I still have fondness for it, big time.
Huh. We should do a Travolta month.
Yeah.
Throw
Another
in
thing, I don't
Broken
know if-
Arrow and
You may have noticed at the beginning of this show and the last show the new.
yes.
Oh yeah, the new theme
Yeah,
song.
we've been we talked a little bit about it at the end of Postman.
Yep.
We put some stuff out there on the social meds, and so forth, and on our website. But yes, Chuck, talk about it.
Well, yeah, we'll probably say the same thing we said a couple weeks ago, but our friend Matt LaBarber has an awesome new album. It'll have been out a couple months now, but it's awesome, and he was nice enough to lend us a part of his work as a theme song.
Yeah. So
it'll
we have it linked in the comments to how you can purchase as well. So if you
Yeah.
want to check out the album and buy it from Maddie, he would appreciate it. We
Yep.
would as well.
It's so it's linked in the descriptions wherever you like. If you go to like SoundCloud or iTunes or whatever, it's there. It's on the website. We've got a little thing. Just look to the right. There'll be a little link there.
Yeah,
a little,
buy his
little
music,
picture, a little
buy
link.
some T-shirts from, Film Seizure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just buy some stuff.
Buy some stuff.
Dude, consume.
Yeah, start spending your money. We're
Yeah.
a capitalist society, fools.
I don't. Okay, so again,
Sorry.
we're watching this. We're recording this at the beginning of the whole coronavirus. Everything may have collapsed.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah. People might be buying our shirts for toilet paper. We would take that, though, right?
Yeah.
I would take that. I don't know
Sure.
if you guys would. Sorry.
I know. I take that. It's still money in our pockets.
I mean, the B movie enema shirts are perfect.
Yeah, they are.
You
Yeah.
plug, you
Just
plug
shit
your
right
bottle.
on them. Yeah.
That's what I use on the table where I perform.
That's beautiful.
It's just.
Beautiful.
Are you saying that like Winona Ryder? Is that
Yeah.
sarcastic?
You're beautiful, Jeff.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
beautiful.
You're
You're
beautiful.
very.
I am very. So anyway, I did appreciate one more thing about Pump Up the Volume. I do appreciate that there was no weird timed old timey catchphrases from like the early '90s or the '80s.
Yeah.
No.
It was very straightforward.
Uh-huh.
Maybe more realistic that way.
I think so. Yeah.
I felt
Although I think that what was done in Heathers was done for comedic effect more than anything.
Oh,
But-
most definitely.
coming out of this movie, honestly, I was like, what am I going to say about this film? Like, you can explain it, but it doesn't have like those things that you have to deep dive into or anything like that. But it's
Right.
a good watch.
Yeah.
I think I would watch if I was turning the channels and this was on. I don't want this to be a would you recommend it, Chuck moment, but I would probably stop on this movie and finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
At the very least, got a good soundtrack.
Very, very good. Yeah.
All right. So, Jason,
FilmSeizure.com.
you got it.
Yeah.
Wednesdays,
New episodes of Film Seizure.
Mondays.
Monster Mondays with Jeff.
Yep. And then over on bmovieanima.com, that's on Friday mornings. That's where I can. That's where I do my own various Happy Harry hard on.
Yeah. And if you like James Bond, Jeff is doing his Double
Double
O
O
Saturdays.
Saturdays, yeah.
Still rolling
Yeah, because
through the end of the year.
there's going to be 52 of those sons of bitches.
That's right.
Those articles. So, got to fill out that year. Still going. Most of them are already written though, long in advance.
You are nothing if not prolific.
Yeah.
You're
We'll
getting
just
another
say-
project soon. What are you going to do when you're done with all the Bond stuff? You going to write about?
I'm gonna rest for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take a break.
a little bit maybe. I think I considered possibly doing some more 00 Saturdays, doing some of the other spy movies that were inspired by James Bond, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Cool.
Because there's a billion of them,
Yeah.
and like half of them are Italian and bad,
Just
really
Austin
bad.
Powers, man.
Yeah, Austin Powers and like Flint, our man Flint. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, next week Chinatown. 2 weeks, the two Jakes. So that should be pretty good. So until next time, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Chuck Moore.
I'm Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.